بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Inshallah, today we'll continue with the next letter, which is the letter Tha. And unlike the previous letter Tha is very, very simple. And we've covered two letters that are very similar to Tha already. So inshallah, today will be a bit easy. So today we're going to talk about number one, how's the letter Tha pronounced? And number two, how is Tha mutaharrik pronounced when it has a fatha and makasra? And lastly, how is Ta sakin pronounced when, especially considering that it is a letter of qalqala? First is, how is a Tha pronounced? So first thing is that like the letter Ta and the letter Dal, a Tha is pronounced when contact is made between the front of the tongue and the roots of the upper front teeth. So the front of the tongue is on the roots of the upper front teeth. So the teeth on top, the two teeth on top, right where they grow from, that's where the front of the tongue is going to be when the letter Tha is pronounced. One difference between Tha and Ta is when pronouncing a Ta, the back of the tongue has to rise in order to create the heaviness that a Tha requires. So if we see here, right back here, the back of the tongue is rising. It's rising. If this is not there, this is going to turn into a Ta, because a Ta and a Tha are pronounced from the exact same place in terms of the front of the tongue. The back of the tongue is right here. So if this back is, it goes down, this whole letter is going to turn light. This is the case for every single heavy letter. Kha, Sad, Dha, Ghain, Tha, Qaf, and Dha. All of those heavy letters, the back of the tongue rises to make it heavy. If for any of them, the back of the tongue is not rising, the letter's heaviness will be gone. The same thing with the letter Tha, the back of the tongue has to rise in order to create the heaviness in the letter Tha. If that back of the tongue is down, it's going to produce a Ta instead. So Ta and Tha are pronounced from the same place. It's just the back of the tongue that's really making the difference. Because Tha is a heavy letter, it's from the huruf isti'la, and Ta is a light letter from huruf istifal. So that's Tha. It's pretty straightforward, nothing really complicated there. I did not mention this in the slides because it's not that common, but one thing some people do is when they're pronouncing a Tha, they tend to kind of try to bend their tongue from the front a lot to make the Tha. That's not necessary. Tha is pronounced just like a Ta. If you can say a Ta, you can say a Tha. It's the same way. What's bending or changing is the back of the tongue. Kind of like when we say any heavy letter. When you say Kha, that sound, make the sound, but put your front of the tongue on the upper teeth, and it'll come out as a Tha. Like the Tha. If you can make a sound, make the sound, but put your front of your tongue on the upper teeth, and a Tha will automatically come out. So there's no need to put some force into the Tha to make it heavy. It's just the way any sound will come out. Moving forward, Tha mutaharrik and a sakin with a qalqala. So Tha is from the letters of qalqala, we'll get to in a bit. But generally speaking, when Tha has a haraka, fatha and makasra, we need to release the tongue from those upper two teeth and then make the motion for whichever haraka we're reciting. So for example, with the fatha, tala'at, tala'at. So Tha. For the second one, with the dhamma, tubi'a, tubi'a. The same thing, the tongue is on the front teeth, and then you release it and make the sound, tubi'a. And then with the kasra, yutiquna, yutiquna. So ti. So we have Tha, Tu, and Ti. Tha, Tu, Ti. Next, when Ta is sakin, the tongue, so when a Ta is sakin, normally, I've mentioned this quite a number of times before, that normally when a letter is sakin, the tongue is not released. The tongue is not released. For example, if a lam is sakin, you don't release your tongue. We did the letter Kha. When Kha is sakin, you don't release anything. You keep it there. But since ta is a letter of qalqala, qutbu jaddin is from the letter of qalqala, you have to release the tongue, but you have to make sure you don't make any motion for a fatha, dhamma, or kasra. So, since ta is a letter of qalqala, you will have to make an echo sound. The way to make the echo sound is once again to just release the tongue from the area where ta is pronounced from, but don't do anything else. Do not do anything else. So, for example, here we have natuda'u, natu, natu, natu. So basically, your tongue is tapping on that front area and then just letting go. It's just tapping and letting go. But nothing's happening with the jaws, nothing is happening with the lips, none of that. It's just simply touching and releasing. Natu, natuda'u. Next is with the dhamma before, but still second. Nutu, nutu, nutu fatin, nutu fatin. Third one, fitrata. This word actually came today in Tarawih. Fitrata, fitrata. So we have nutu, nutu, fitr. All three of them should sound exactly the same. Nutu, nutu, fitr. So all of them should sound like utu, utu, utu. There should be no fatha, dhamma, kasra sound. There should not be nataba'u, nataba'u. It shouldn't be nutufa, nutufa, no dhamma sound. It shouldn't be fitira, fitira. It should be no fatha, dhamma, kasra sound in any of them. They should sound exactly the same because they are the same. It's a flaw with the second. And we discussed falqa in a lot of detail when I believe did ba. So if anyone wants to refresh their memory, they can go do the letter ba. One last example is when it's at the end of an ayah and it's a bit more stretched. Wallahu min waraihim muhit. Muhit. So this is exactly the same as the other ones too. Muhit. Napo, napo, nopo, fito, muhito. They're all the same. They're all just just touching it and letting it go. Up. That's it. So there should be no pa, tu, ti sound coming with it. You're just touching and releasing. That's all that's happening. Wow. So that is the letter pa, and inshallah tomorrow we'll continue with the next letter. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika.